This is round 8, so hopefully y'all watched up until round 7. Before we get started, make sure y'all guys subscribe to the YouTube channel. Right, let's get it. Let's get it. Let's go. This is round 8. I'm playing Gus. Gus actually did get a norm this tournament here. Very strong. And here in this game, actually prep-wise, what I was supposed to do, and let me tell you about prep here is, I mean, really, I learned a lot from this tournament. I learned so much from this tournament and taking a lot with my coach and taking it back and working on what we need to do to be better for the next ones. And, you know, we ready for that, especially the next one coming up in March. So here, in this game, I remember prepping, and I remember asking myself, especially in the pre-prep, it's very hard to prep on people that don't have files. Do you know what I mean? Like, he didn't have any files there, right? So, you know, let's get this guy out of here too, right? Can we do that? Okay, perfect. So it's here, like, I actually did not find any files on him at all, bro. I didn't find any files. I searched Gus Huston, like Chess.com, Lee Chess. Nothing comes up, bro. This man was like off the radar for real. Bruh. And I'm like, yo, like, what the heck? It's really hard. It's really hard to find what to do. Like, when they don't have nothing to play. I mean, like, what do I play is what I'm trying to find out here. I know he plays E4. So he plays E4, right? And here, you know, I was going to play Accelerated Dragon, but I'm like, I don't even know what he plays. I'm really not trying to face another Moroxy Bind like I did in round 1. So I wasn't trying to go Moroxy Bind. Modern, I'm like, I don't even really know what he played against the Modern right there, things like that. And I was having big success in this tournament with the King's Indian Defense. So after King's Indian Defense, right, after the King's Indian Defense, I'm like, okay, you know what? Let's try a perk defense, right? So I go for D6. Right, and he goes, which is something I don't even really play, but I'm very familiar with the Bishop G7 line. So I kind of looked at some files I had, right, and played D6, and then after Knight F6, Knight C3, G6, right, Knight F3, Bishop G7, he says, yikes, yeah. The perk is very playable, but it's also, you have to be careful here, because it's very tactical. It's extremely tactical. In fact, sometimes even more tactical than King's Indian, right, you know, here. But I wanted to go for, I remember having my success, right? Think about this, right? I beat a Grandmaster in round 2 with King's Indian. Then round 4 come around, and then I beat an IM with the King's Indian. So I am like, you know, I'm just trying to play everything King's Indian, or like everything, because right now it's working. So the closest that I can get to a King's Indian from E4, knowing that he does play E4 from the games I did find, was a sort of this perk-like position, right? And after Bishop G7, Bishop E2, castles, and here I'm literally in a King's Indian, but it's with E4. So I'm feeling good here, actually. In fact, this is where I started to deviate. This is why you just play, like, you have to be more prepared than I was here, actually. I'm supposed to play A6. When I went back and looked at the files, I'm like, oh snap, well, I just played this King's Indian because that's what I'm feeling here. I'm just like, I was play King's Indian. I didn't really even understand, like, you know, what does he even play anyway, right? So okay, castles, knight to c6. After knight c6, he goes h3. And this is all like the same. I'm feeling fine here. Everything's exactly how it's supposed to be. I mean, this is good. This is still fine. Everything's equal. Then I break with e5, the classic e5 break that you see in the King's Indian. Every fella's going yes on him. Right. Right. So this is the classic KID stuff. Right. So after e5, he goes bishop c4, which seems a little strange, which it kind of is a little strange. But this bishop on c4 does do some pressure on f7 if you ever move the rook in this game. Okay, bishop c4 happens, right? I'm getting King's Indian-ish positions here, and tactics definitely favor black a lot here. But it is black to move here, chat. What do you do? What would you actually do in this position? Yeah, they definitely snoozing on that one, Pepper, but you're right, though. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. Ooh, that's nice. Cougar paint. It's very nice. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. Very nice. All right. What are we doing here? King h8. So trying to get off this diagonal. Definitely a likely move. This would be one of the times King h8 actually makes sense. Knight to d7. Okay. That's an interesting one. a6 still trying to do some b5 action. I see you moving the king. Knight d7. Taking on d4. Okay. Taking on d4. Very possible. Okay. E takes d4. Out of the pin, don't push the pawns in that opening. You can play king h8, very possible, stuff like that. Knight a5. 5 P's. Very nice, Vinny. Very nice. Very nice. All right. I vote e takes d4. Okay, so this is what I chose here, right? Is e takes d4. You have to do this. You have to open up the bishop. You have to open up the bishop. Like, this is just automatic. So after knight takes d4, I can take this right now, or I can do something else. What do you do here, guys? Will you do something else, or do you actually just capture the knight? Black's a move. What do you do next? The bishop's open now. Maybe there's tactics, maybe there's not. What do you do? What's up, Elphins? See you in the chat. Knight takes. I see about 2 people for knight takes. And freestyle, like, capture it, dog. Capture it, dog. WSP. Knight takes. Can you take on e4, knight h5? Why you can take the knight? You can develop somehow, gain that tempo. Very nice, chat. Take the pawn. Knight takes e4. Okay. All right. All right. Dang. Dude, look at y'all, chat. Knight takes e4. That's nice. That's nice right there, actually. Knight takes e4, boy. It's 100% garbage. Garbage. Get him out of the board. What are you doing? It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Right? Right? Because it looks like it did, and I wanted to do this after takes here. I mean, not that it's super garbage, but you have this line here, like knight takes d8, and you have to be very accurate here, guys. This does not feel right. You have to find king h8 right now, and this is not looking good. Like, this is just not what we wanted here. Maybe this is actually very playable here, but I have to find all of this. Like, this is... Hold on, big dog. This is not what we're looking for right now. Knight takes c4 is not the move, in fact. Right? It is not the move. It can be played, but you got to be very careful. And I'm finding the engine moves, in fact. It looks like it equalized, yeah, because I'm looking at the engine to tell me what to do there. Right? Knight takes e4 does not... Nah, bro, this wasn't working the way that we wanted it to here, in fact. So this is a different one. This is here. This one's e5. Okay, here we go. Deep Thinker, thanks for the tier 1. I'm a Benoni player. Ooh, that's nice. Be careful with that Benoni, though. It's very, very... you get in trouble. You get in trouble, to say the least. Okay, so this is what happened, actually. So a few moves ahead. Rook e8. I play Rook e8 to hit e4 with knight takes e4. Right, now I have some real intentions of knight takes d4 and knight takes e4. For instance, something like a3, right? a3, if knight, then I can take here and then take here. And I'm hitting the queen. That's mean sheesh, right? So let's go back here. Dinker, thanks again for the sub. And go back here. Okay, after rook e8, I'm thinking, you know, he's going to do something, right? Like, you have to do something about this, right? There's a threat of this and this. Open up the bishop. Pretty obvious threat. I go rook e8. What do you think white does? What do you think white does here, guys? What's Benoni? GM Ultra Player, you need to Google it right now. Hit the bishop. If knight takes c6. Yeah, if knight takes c6, I have no problems taking with the b pawn, right? And then rook to b8 with the b file and playing d5 eventually, still pressuring e4, and maybe even a bishop e6 line in there as well. What do you do? What should white do about this, though, right? What should white do about this? Thanks, Dale's Flash. Thanks for gifting. That's right, rook e1 from Dark. Exalt. Says knight takes and rook e1. Dale's Flash, thanks for that gift, and I appreciate you. Rook b8 would be great, but I mean, yeah, that rhymed too, right? But rook b8. Oh, you talking about after knight takes c6? Correct. Correct. Rook b1. I mean, there's not many moves for white actually to do as well. f3 you can probably look at, but I think I still do this, don't I? Yeah, see, this is like, you have to deal with this now. Bishop g5. I see bishop g5. It's interesting. Bishop g5. I wonder if I could still do that. I mean, that's getting weird. That's getting weird. Can I do this? What? Oh, he might be able to do this. What is going on right now? This game is super tight. What if I take this? Takes, like, whoa. Like, this is nuts. Absolutely nuts right now, but that did not happen. In fact, he did this right here. Rook e1. I instantly thought, I was like, bro, he tripping. And maybe I'm tripping. I was like, yo, I know he saw this. Like, I know he saw this. So he's inviting it. He's inviting this to happen. So I look around the room. I check under the table for wires, you know, making sure I'm looking up like, what is this? Bro, what is this? Bruh. What is this? So I take it. He takes back, and I'm like, dog, I'm looking around, you know, checking my water. I'm like, there's something in my water, bro. Let me make sure they ain't spiked my water, fam. And then I take on E4. The heck is this? What is he doing? Because I knew, now the only line here that actually works is you have to take on F7 and everything's equal. If you do anything else, it's like garbage here, right? If you do anything else, it's like garbage. So he takes on F7 and I take back and Queen D5 check happens, right? And I saw this line already. I saw this, Bishop E6, right? Because what's happening right now is I'm hitting his queen. And then I also took this piece, so he needs to take the knight, right? And then, okay, queen takes D5, right? So I go here and we reach this position right here where I put my king back on G8. So looking at this, what do you think about the position? Isn't black just fine, right? Black's doing excellent. I got two bishops, right? Pawn in the center. I mean, come on now. I'm feeling great, right? I'm feeling excellent in this position. But let's go back for a minute. Let's go back. And this is what I worked on with my coach. Working with my coach, you know, working, you know, with him. I learned a lot about here, taking more time, number one, calculation, and developing a habit of asking more of what is available more than, you know, what I think I should be doing and following up with the plan. In fact, here, you know, there was a move that we was covering here when we was doing this analysis and kind of just expanding and growing with calculation here, is a move that I didn't even consider. That I was like, what do you even do here is D5. I didn't even consider this move. I didn't even consider this move. And the fact that I didn't consider it is in fact, you know, in the way that I'm thinking now, it's a blunder that I missed this. You know, D5 is a very, very ridiculously cool move. Like, you really, I mean, wow, if knight takes and you take on E4. I could also take on D5, but I take on E4. And this is a little bit different. This queen now has to, you got to be very careful about your placement. Queen D3, I have bishop F5 now, right? And knight C3 is coming with tactics. There's all kinds of stuff now. C6, this is the play I was looking for, right? Without giving him the counterplay he's looking for, right? It's a different way of giving that. Here, it's a completely different D5, and then what happens on pawn takes is obviously, come on now, this is a family channel. Get him out of here, right? So he's not going to take this way. And then what about bishop takes? If bishop takes, well, you have this beautiful move C6 right now. I go up a piece. I go up a piece now after C6 if he takes. So literally D5, I didn't even see it. It didn't even cross my mind. So with that being said, this is a blunder. Knight takes E4 because I was so stuck in here that I didn't see everything else. Not having tunnel vision and looking and seeing what's available is a lesson learned throughout the tournament as well. But definitely in this game was a highlight. Going over this stuff with my coach here was a highlight, huge highlight. Where D5 is much better and not even an option that I even realized. So I won't miss D5 again. Oh, you right, big fella. I ain't missing nothing. Yeah, watch this next one. So, you know, D5 was a move I definitely missed. Definitely missed here. All right, my only criticism of knight takes E4 is bishop takes E5 is that it releases all the tension. Yes, and actually after knight takes E4, this is the line I chose. Takes, because I saw all of this. I go bishop takes, and then this is the line I looked at. And after checks, I go king G8, and I sit back and I say I have two bishops. I'm one move away, well, maybe two from completing development. White is two, but I mean, your bishop needs to figure out where you want to go. I mean, I have pressure here, and I have the two bishops, and maybe the potential of a pass pawn in the center. Maybe not the greatest, obviously, unless we trade pieces often. I'm probably winning with the king, you know, obviously in the king in game, having the potential to create the pass pawn, with having 4 versus 3 on the queen side, which is an advantage in the end game, bro. I'm like, I'm basically like strategically winning, but obviously it takes time. I'm just preferred here, and you have to grind this boy out. He plays queen G3, which I thought was a pretty good move. He wants to move the bishop to G5. Very simple. He wants to develop it to F4 or G5. I wish my blunders were that good. Charles Michaels, what's up? It's good. No, I'm not the only one with tunnel vision. Yeah, it happens, bro. It does. When I blunder, I look under the table to see where my queen went. Wow. Queen G3 and then queen D7. So I just get the queen off the back rank. Here I also had other moves as well, but bishop f4 and then bishop f5, right? I found this cool move, bishop f5. The best defense is usually offense. So after he plays here to attack my pawn, instead of pushing it, I just play bishop to f5, right? So I'm going to go bishop f5 to say, if you take mine, I take yours, same big fella, right? You take here, I take here, and then I got a passer on the way. Have a nice day. You know, it's real nice out here. Young Waka, what's up, man? Brothers are some Greek guy. So Young Waka was good, man. Welcome to the stream. So the D pawn ready to run. So, but this didn't happen. I go bishop f5, hitting the c2 pawn. Really nice. Really nice. Boom. Okay, I'm hitting c2, and then he hits me here, bishop e5, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. He's trying to trade the bishops because I got the bishop pair. I got the bishop pair. This is where it started to get very strange. After, I went d4 to see where he went with his knight first. He takes on g7, I take back, and then knight e2. And here, I go c5. Wait, let's fast forward a little bit. c5, I defend the pawn, and then knight to f4. Here is my chance to really kind of defend. In fact, defend correctly here. And my judgment was a little bit off here. A little bit off. But obviously, my king is weak. So as you see here, my king's weak. But I got some compensation with these. Maybe I could trade. But my king is indeed weak. My queen needs to kind of cover the dark squares. Here, I chose bishop takes c2. It's looking crazy right now. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's about to get real. It's about to get real. Watch this. Watch this, right? Engines give this. Black is fine. I'm up a pawn, so that should tell you he got some compensation, right? You know, I'm up a pawn right now. Wait, 3, 6. Yeah, I'm up a pawn. I'm up a pawn, but it says black is like minus 0.92. If you up a pawn, it should at least be -1, correct? Right? You're up a pawn. So, or sometimes even more. This don't even give it a full pawn, which lets me know there is some real compensation here, which I knew, but I miscalculated. And again, one of the big, you know, when you debrief from a tournament, 9 rounds, things and weaknesses and what do you need to work on, calculation was one of them for me. In fact, here after this knight f4, bishop takes c2, king, knight h5, and I messed this up very badly here. In fact, king f7 I didn't like. I didn't like this king f7 move, and the reason being, I thought he had, which of course, yeah, this was calculation again. I just didn't calculate it. You just have to do it next time. That's what that is. But queen check. I saw check, and I was like, queen f5 doesn't work because queen takes b7. But I saw bishop f5, and I remember looking at bishop f5 and saying that there's a g4 in here, and I'm not sure. And my king's on f7. And this is what I said. I remember looking at this position in analysis and saying that I don't want to go for this. Engine thinks this is fine, but as a human, I was like, I'm not feeling this. So let me see what happens on g4. Oh, now I take the knight. Okay. So what if I move the knight? Then I can take and then play rook e8. So apparently this is holdable. This is very holdable. This is the route I should have taken, going king f7. But in fact, I went king h8, allowing knight f6 to happen. I saw this. And right now, the engine's like, everything's fine, right? Everything's like, it's like +1 now. Because I saw knight f6 and I saw this line. This is the line I covered. Knight f6. But after knight f6 happens, now it goes up to +2. It's funny that a move before, right now, this is how the engine works. Sometimes, like, right now, it's say knight f6 is like +1. Then you make the move, and knight f6 is like +3 now. And it's like, oh, snap. I'm in a lot of trouble. But I saw this, and this is the line I missed, right? Again, calculation being one of the weak points in this tournament. After rook takes, queen g7, I saw everything. Except, in fact, 2 moves here. I was thinking he had to go like queen e5, which he doesn't. He has queen d6, which me and my coach looked at. Queen d6 was like, wow, it's another miscalculation here. Queen d6, but I was always calculating rook e8, and I knew I was getting out with rook e8. But what I was missing was knight e8. After knight e8, I was like, oh. It hurt. Because I'm like, well, I didn't spot that one because I didn't look deep enough. So you have to calculate even more and more. So my homework and training for the last 2-3 weeks has been literally drilling calculation to fix these small little errors that I had in this last tournament here. So you don't have this ever again. So this doesn't happen anymore. You know what I'm saying? Right. So he found 98 here and I'm in trouble. DG Rose says, yo, it's good. It's good seeing you the other week. Directed Liberty Bell. Gus is super solid. Deserved Iron Norm. What's up, guy? My guy. Mr. Road in the chat. Good to see you, bro. Yes, sir. What up, big fella? 15 months too, bro. Let's get it. So 98, and I was like, this is a wrap. So watch this. Now watch the defense though. Queen F7, queen check. I'm in trouble. I'm in a lot of trouble here. Obviously, I know I'm in a lot of trouble. I'm like, can I run the pawn? I'm just trying to defend now. Because here I just messed this up in 2 points. Again, 1 point was the big calculation. Me playing D5 early on, right here, right? Me instead looking what else is available for me, asking this question quite often. D5 didn't even see it. Was so stuck on knight takes c4. This would have been huge, right? D5 is 1 point, and then again in this analysis here, missing the point that first off, miscalculating king f7 and misinterpreting the engine or my calculations, sorry, after bishop f5, and then here not calculating fully everything after he can go knight e8. He doesn't have to go rook e8. So after queen f7, check, right? Check. Before we go, queen f7 ran into queen e5, right? So queen f7, queen e5 is GG. Queen e5 is like GG. Actually, queen d6, I mean, even queen d6, you have rook e7 too, right? So you can't even stop this. But rook f8, you have knight g4 maybe? And then rook e7. Yeah, this is still like, I mean, it's still playable, but like, this is not, like, I'm getting in a lot of trouble here. And just like +4 right now. So it's not working. That wouldn't have worked either. But I thought I was clever enough to let him get a little bit of counterplay. Just a little bit. He plays 98, and I'm like, oh, this is a wrap. Somebody get the stretcher. Oh, my goodness. So king g8. He goes check. I go, now here, you have to play accurately, guys. I mean, like, I'm already, like, cooked here. If I go king f8, there's check here. And then king here, and then rook e7. Just for starters, right? Just for starters. So if I go king g7, you're like, oh, okay, oh, I'm out of here. We good, you know? Flex, we good. Oh, we good. We gonna take the knight, you know, and if you go here, we gonna repeat, right? Oh, repeat. I'm gonna just repeat 1 time just to be nice to you, you know, just to be nice. And then I'm gonna go knight g4 and look at you, right? All crazy. You can't go here. King f8 is mate on the move on h8. Actually, not mate. There's this nasty sequence in here. King f8 is actually knight h6. Yeah, and you hit the queen, and then this comes in next. Like, everything's nasty. Very bad. So you can't do that. And knight g4, obviously, if you go here, then knight h6 first, and then you check. And then, or you take the queen, however you want to do it. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Everything's losing there. So you have to go king h8 here, right? So after knight f6, I go king h8. He checks me again. I'm like, bet, you want to draw, big fella? Shoot. You want to draw? Right now. We'll take one right now. He played knight d6. And I'm like, dang, all right. I can't really move anywhere. I put the queen on f8. Queen f8. Queen d5, and I'm just holding. I'm like, man, I'm just trying to defend. I'm fighting for my life. He goes check here, knight g5, and then watch this, guys. My king went to h6. Bro, I'm out here working. Bro, I'm swinging. I'm fighting for my life. And watch these next few moves, guys. Watch this, right? He plays g4, and I was like, you know what's funny? Sometimes, and I even tell this to students. I used to tell this to students too. It's like sometimes, you know, and think about this, guys. When you're losing, you start to become a super GM. You start finding moves that you start finding everything because you're losing. But why can't you be doing this the entire time, right? So this is the part that you have to try to train, which is the part I'm training a lot, is training that part to always think like that. Because this next move I found is actually, it's still +4. I'm going to tell you, my position bad. But I still found move number 1 on the engine. Let's see if you can find it right now. Black's a move here. Let's see if you can find it. Black's a move. Right. And now, of course, I'm training, obviously, to calculate like this all the time, like I did in round 7. If you guys go see round 7, I was a nasty game. And round 2, right? So, what do we have here? We have rook e8, okay? King h9. Oh, man. Elf is tripping. Yeah, you know this position is complicated. Bishop f5. And if it was the queen, defending the knight, d3, bishop f5, bishop f5, bishop f5, bishop f5. Y'all going nuts. It is bishop f5. Jeez. I mean, all back-to-backs, too. Bishop f5, bishop f5, bishop f5, bishop f5. I played bishop f5 and flexed real hard in a losing position. Flexed real hard in a losing position, bro. And I was like, bro, this is a wild game. And I was thinking to myself, what if I get out of this? You know, I'm like, what if I swindle this? What's going to happen? I would be okay if I swindled this game. If I would have swindled this game right, I would I would be okay if he like flipped the board and like flipped it on me, you know. And I'm like, oh snap. I would be like, hey, my bad, you know. Like I would understand because this is that kind of swindle, right? If he threw a piece at me, I'll be like, oh my bad. I understand, you know. Hey, I understand, bro. Because this game, you have no business. So swindling here, I was definitely thinking of that, right? I was definitely thinking of that. So after Bishop F5, Bishop F5. There's so many stuff here. There's so much like weird stuff going on. Like I was thinking, like you know, if he takes, and then King takes, right? Which this is actually what happened in the game. The whole thing is just interference, right? I just wanted to interfere here and take with the King and have hopes to do something. I don't know what I was thinking here, but I knew that this was probably something I should do to get the bishop back to maybe defend. And I was thinking, what if he tries knight f3? And I was like, if he goes knight f3, I was like, I can't believe I'm thinking of this move. I can't even believe I considered this. But I think it was rook d8. And then after rook d8, queen e5. And then, actually, I wanted to go bishop c8. But there's g5, and then there's queen g3. Which I saw this, which mates everywhere. There's like 2 mates. It's like all these mates and stuff. And queen h4, I can't even stop him from going queen h4. And I had to go king h5 because of queen here. And I'm like, why am I seeing all this now, but I wasn't looking before? Like, this is the thing that you train, you know what I'm saying? This is the thing that you train to do it all the time. So, you know, but bishop f5 with the intention of playing, like if he does, I don't know what, something else. I wanted to go bishop c8 right now. Something like this, but there's a check here and then rook e7. And look how weird this is. Like, this is terrible. We're undeveloping the bishop, you know. So he didn't do this. So he took on f5 and I took, and my king is on g5. But I was like, yo, if he can open the g file, so he takes on g6. If I take on g6, there's nothing I can do. There's literally nothing. So what I did is use it as an anchor. And here's what I'm hoping for, guys. I'm hoping that he takes on h7, because this is what happens. I check him, last ditch effort. All right. I go rook f8 and hope for the best. This is the live position. And I'm sitting here like, man, let this man blunder, bro. Let this man blunder. What I mean by that is like this. Right, he plays check and rook f6, and I'm waiting. This is like a last trap here. Like, you have to see everything, guys. You really have to work everything. After rook takes take, he can't queen, right? So I was like, all right, queen g8. Then I was like, all right, maybe I could check him, right? I could check him right now. And then if queen g2, like I'm fine. Like, what the heck happened? Like, yo, oh my goodness. This is what I'm hoping for, right? Or, you know, some type of blunder like this, or a check. And I can like, yo, we got a perpetual. Like, oh my goodness, right? But he finds a beautiful sequence here, which I saw too. After rook here, he can play this move here, which is just, it's just annoying. He plays queen e5. That's game over. It's nothing you can do. Really nothing you can do. Beautiful move, queen e5. Because if you ever move the rook, I can queen with check. Through the queen. Through the queen. Very beautiful. So I take, hoping he blunders, he queens, through the queen. And now I'm like this. And I still won. Hey, hold on. You know, hey, shout out to big fella Hans. Okay. The first thing I was thinking about, and guys, if you're not on my YouTube channel, make sure you guys search for that. You can search Hans on my YouTube channel, and you guys can check the Hans game that he swindled the international master with the rook and the knight versus the queen and the pawns. Do y'all remember that game? Do y'all remember when we covered that here on the channel? If you haven't, go look at that game on my channel. But this is not the same. This is not the same at all. But I did get those vibes. I'm like, hey, pawn is, if I'm on a third rake, I mean, hey, and I got a rook. Hold on. And I thought about Hans. And he, you know, I'm walking up the board. I'm like, come on, big fella. Come on. And he just finds all the right moves. Like, there's nothing I can do. He played h4. And, like, it's just stuck. Like, these pawns got me stuck here, right? What would Hans do, right? Right. What would Hans do? Yeah. And that was it. And after h5, I resigned here. And this was game over. Like, it's nothing. I have no moves. King c2, he just takes. King here, I can't push. King, I can't move the king to push the pawn. Right, I can't move the king and push the pawn. So this was over here, right? But A big learning experience was not really in the opening, it was more in the calculation twice in the same game, right? So I learned a lot and went over this with my coach, and it really helped out. So this was round 8, right? So this was round 8. Make sure y'all looked at round 1 through 7 already if y'all haven't already. Learned a lot this tournament. It was super fire. So make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we're going to cover it round 8 tomorrow.